Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It's a pleasure to take a call during the second reading of this Education Amendment Bill. Education is hugely important to the government. It's important to the extent that we realise that it's the vehicle by which people realise their potential, and it's therefore very, very important that we do have a robust and reliable system. So I congratulate the Minister in bringing this bill before the House and ensuring that the education system itself is enhanced, and that's what this bill does, Mr. Speaker. It actually surprised the Select Committee on just how many parts of the bill that needed tidying up. But as the time permits, Mr. Speaker, I'd like to just deal on one or two of those parts, because I'm sure that my fellow members on the government benches here will also develop other parts of it. Of significance is the changes around the police vetting requirements. Quite an important part to get that balance right, so that in actual fact education is being conducted in a healthy and safe environment. The process needed to be robust enough so that vetting of all non-teaching staff is completed before an individual has unsupervised access to children. Now, formerly that was some practice that was conducted via the Teaching Council, and that in itself was quite bureaucratic, and it was deemed that within the school, the compulsory section and the ECE, or early childhood education, that responsibility should sit with the Board of Trustees or those in responsibility. And I think, Mr. Speaker, that certainly is going to be enthusiastically embraced by the schools. There will be an amount of time required so that can be done in a robust and professional manner. That in itself will save somewhere between $375,000 and $400,000. These moves are in themselves being tested and tried and true. They are practiced in the United States, Canada, England and Australia, and it will provide an effective safeguard for children to learn in a safe environment. I just want to talk just for a few moments on some of the smaller aspects, but very, very relevant aspects, Mr. Speaker, of this bill in improving the Education Act. And one I'll choose is the gap that exists presently within the student loans system that needs to be plugged. It is not illegal to provide knowingly false information, and that loophole or that gap is actually closed off by this bill, and it makes to make a false declaration is an offence. So on that basis, it does tidy those matters up. So without labouring the point too much, this government sees the importance of a world-class education. This matter of matching information between the Teachers' Council and schools and the Ministry has been something that has languished as long as I've been on the Education and Science Select Committee. So it's good that Minister Tolley has actually brought this bill to the House so that we can tidy this up. We can start getting some real professionalism around managing education in this country, and this bill will help, Mr. Speaker, to ensure that we have better systems of police vetting, better systems of information matching, less bureaucracy, more teaching, more flexibility to the boards of trustees. One situation that came up that was quite ludicrous when you think about it, that even a school that was being closed or had chosen to close had to actually have an election at a given period of time. So, yes, a very interesting situation. I believe that this bill will make a significant difference, as every other bill that goes into the Education, Science and Select Committee does. I want to take the opportunity of acknowledging the fine leadership of the Chairman and also the wisdom of the previous Minister of Education, or a previous Minister of Education, who articulated some of the sentiments and some of the realism. However, this government sees that this bill will actually set us up to better implement national standards of literacy and numeracy. This bill will actually help us focus on teaching. It will help the boards of trustees and principals implement the assessments and moderation of national standards. And it's sad that we've had 9 years of failure by Labor, and it continues in a state of denial, becoming obstructive and encouraging actually poor teaching practice. It's my pleasure to commend this bill to the House.
I was going to say that this was a second reading speech and we had to confine it to what the topic is, which is the Senate Committee. Kelvin Davis.
Mr. Speaker.